on our restaurant activity. Okay, so, oh, do you want me to, sorry, did you want more time? I can put you back in the breakouts if you want more time. I just wanted to make sure we had a chance to go over this before class ends. Okay. So I'm going to open up my restaurant activity. As I said, we'll resume with the recycler view next week. So the first thing I want to do here is populate. I want to be able to populate, first of all, the selected name. There's a text view here. So what do I need in the onCreate? Right, so when I click on something in our recycler view, we're passing in two extras, one called RestaurantId and one called name. So how could we use this to populate our restaurant name at the top? Okay, so we'll just refer to our, it's called restaurant name text view .text, which is here. Right, our text view at the top. We can use our intent.getStringExtra method. We're looking for an extra called name that we set out here on line 87. And for type safety, we'll check for a null and convert it to an empty string. So even if it's missing, we'll just get an empty string. We won't get a null pointer exception. So I'll save that and try it out. And that should then display the selected restaurant name at the top of the activity. So on our list activity, we're writing the name into an extra before we start our restaurant activity. And then on create, we're immediately going to read the name of that extra and render it into our restaurant name text view. So now when I click, our restaurant name comes up. Whoops, I didn't add any code here. Okay, so there's our text view. I will put the code, and now let's just add the code for the click handler. So we've got our save button called save comment button. So we'll add an on-click listener here. So then what does this code look like that will allow us to grab the name, the username, and the comments and save them to Firebase? So I think we'll come back to the recycler view. We can finish that off next week together. Or even back in breakout rooms, we can do it. So what do we need? Some of the groups had it working. You can put it up on Pastebin and share a link, or you can put it in the chat. Anybody want to share? I know at least one of the groups got this working. Well, I'll start with the very first thing, maybe. Well, Edwin, because you had it working on your machine. One thing we are going to need is we're going to need a database connection. And we probably want to do it at the class level because we can use that same connection for both saving as well as for reading into the recycler view. So we may want to create a database instance here. We'll call it get instance. But this time we're going to use a comments collection. If you created this code inside the on-click listener, that's fine. But we're going to want it also for reading data. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody share theirs. Okay, missing shared library. Hey, no, I'll have to think about that one. So what do we need to do to save one of these comments? Even one of the other groups that had this, Andrew, I think your group was close, could also share your code and I can help finish it off. Yeah, so we're going to create a new comment and we want to populate it. We want to make sure that our text inputs aren't empty. Excuse me. So we want to make sure our username edit text is not empty. And also our body edit text is not empty. If either of them are, we're going to set a toast message. We're going to say it's incomplete. And we'll need to import the library for a toast. So we'll do it. So if we have a username and we have a body, we can get a new ID from Firebase. And get the ID. And now we can use the overload constructor. So what we want to pass in here is our ID, our username, edit text, dot text, our body edit text, dot text, and our intent dot get string extra. But this time we're getting our restaurant ID string extra. I didn't create my comment class, so I need to do that. So I could call the constructor first and populate the properties, Or I've got the overloaded constructor where I could just pass in, and this should be comment ID. Actually, oh, this should be dot to string. Convert these both to strings. So I'm instantiating my new comment. And now we can update the document by calling set, passing in our comment, and then we'll clear the values. And I'll add a toast message that says comment added. So I'm going to leave the recycler view. I'll post this code. So here's all the code inside our restaurant class. I'm going to try it out. And this will be the last thing I'm going to try for today. So we'll go in, whoops, that's my test project. So I'm going to try and click on a restaurant, make a comment. And then I can look in Firebase to see if the comment gets saved. So it says my comment was added. Our recycler view isn't populated yet. But if I refresh my Firebase console, I now have a comment. I've got a comment ID that is tagged to my appropriate restaurant. So that's where we wanted to be today. Okay, so that completed code is on paste of code for you. We did run out of time to complete the recycler view. So we'll maybe work on this next week. We'll maybe start class next week. I can maybe allocate some time and we can go back into breakouts so that you can work on the code that's then going to populate. Whenever this activity gets created, it'll populate the list and also get updated in real time whenever we save a new comment. Okay, so I'm not going to push today's code up to GitHub yet because there are people that are working asynchronously. And I want you to take a stab at doing as much of the work as you can, and you'll need to publish it to GitHub and show me what you've done in order to get your learning activity mark for this week. Everyone who's been here in class and participated in the breakout, I've already given you your marks for this week for the work you did in the breakouts today. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up for today. I will push the code. Sure, Aiden, I will. I will push the code before class next week. And again, there's no quiz this week. Okay, I will see you all next week. We'll finish this off and then we'll dive into authentication with Firebase. Have a great weekend. Thanks for sticking with me and your participation today.